I think it is time for Africa to stand up for Africa.
Yeah, this is one of the things that we've been talking about here at Lagos Business School. We want to drive Africa's growth through developing responsible leaders for the continent.
Africa has depended for so long on the external influences who tend to copy and paste a lot of things, copy badly and paste badly. So I think the HMC Conference 2025 is going to be the largest gathering of hotel managers in Africa, people coming from all across the continent to cultivate, co-create, and exchange ideas of how we can move forward. So I think this is our time, and not just Africa's time, it's hospitality's time. I think for a long time, we've had hospitality at the bottom of the food chain, the professional food chain. And this is a baby step towards developing professionalism on the continent. So global experiences and practices, we can learn a lot, but let's make it real for our context. We had examples of African hospitality. Let's give an example. You go to your friend's house in the village, how are you received? With food, with drink, with warmth. It comes natural to us. But when you try and transfer this to the commercial sphere, it becomes a bit stiff. Why is that? Maybe we don't understand the value of hospitality in our culture and our experience and how to translate it into a commercial venture. Other clients have been able to do this very well, but we have an advantage in that we are intrinsically hospitable. So I think this conversation we're going to have at the HMC 2025 conference is an opportunity for all of us to appreciate what we have, talk to each other, see how we can collaborate, and then talk about bringing hospitality to the professional level it needs to be in order to compete globally. Let's have people coming into the continent respecting and appreciating our hospitality rather than trying to mimic what is very difficult and at the same time will always put us at second class. So I think that's one of the big things I'm looking forward to. The Lagos Business School Hospitality Initiative, very exciting. We're only 1 year. And what was the rationale for the development of that initiative? The Lagos Business School has many sectors represented: oil and gas, finance, fintech, etc. And guess what? No hospitality or tourism. I remember conversations I've had with colleagues and with participants and executives who quite frankly didn't understand hospitality beyond pots and pans. And I reached the point where we had an open discussion about how important this sector is to the economic growth of Nigeria and Africa as a whole. Finally, we're given the opportunity, go ahead and start something, all right? And that was when the idea of birth. How can we develop leaders? So we're not talking operations here. We're talking about strategic leadership competencies. If we address the head, we will be able to develop people in operations, people in the vocational skills sector. But we need leaders to drive the industry. Those competencies are few and far between, as we can imagine, in our sector. How can we shape people to begin to have a growth mindset, to think about issues around sustainability, to see hospitality and tourism as a business and not just as a passion? I love it, I love what I do, and therefore I make it a business. But how do you run the business? So that's the space we operate in. And particularly because we're discussing Africa, we are looking to develop Africans for Africa using our local context. So in our programs and our engagements, we try to make sure that that is the focus. What will drive the growth of Africa's hospitality industry from the top? One of the problems we come up against is people hoarding data and information. I try to understand why it's difficult to share data. When we share data, collate it, we come up with insights. Insights that will drive businesses, insights that will drive the industry. But there's a closed mindset. I remember having a discussion with somebody about this, and he said, probably because people are afraid of the government and what they will do with that information. The last time they shared, the government came up with a certain law, and everybody was upset because surveys had been sent to them previously, and they used that information to set up the system. I found that very pedestrian thinking. If we are going to move forward as an industry, we need to learn how to generate data and to share, and to use that for insights that help decision making. So that's number one, an open mindset. Still around mindsets, I'll say a growth mindset is really important. What brought us when we are today will not take us where we need to be tomorrow. And for that, we need to be learning. We need to unlearn what we have learned, and we need to relearn. That takes a lot. We can't be comfortable. It shocks me and surprises me how people will be in the same position for 20, 25 years. The question asked by so many times is, don't you want to grow? So a growth mindset means that we're never comfortable where we are, and we always seek to develop the people after us, succession planning, so that we can move on to greater leadership roles. And I think that's something that is missing. We have generally trying to hold on to what we have, right? And to be careful that the people after us don't overtake us. That's a debilitating mindset. The third thing that I would like to share really is professional development and integrity. Having researched the industry for a long time, I think one of the biggest issues we face is ethics, integrity. As the professional, am I a person who is ethical? And that would translate into how we perform our duties, how we treat our staff, and how we do things even when no one is watching. Even if there are no checks and balances, am I that person that will walk into a room and I'm convinced, and everybody around me is convinced, that doing the right thing is the best thing? There are so many dodgy things going on in our industry, and I look forward to the time when people are able to stand up for what is right. Harassment in the workplace, all kinds of unethical behavior that generally puts hospitality or confirms hospitality professionals as not being in the game of business. If there's any change that I can hopefully push forward with my engagement at the keynote, is be a better person. Forget about everybody else and what is happening. Be a better person. Charge the right prices. Treat people well. And everything. Just do the normal things that are expected. And we will see how we grow our businesses, and we'll see how we grow people, and we'll see how we grow in our leadership competencies and our career trajectories. Just do the right thing. I think the most exciting thing about this conference is that people are converging from across Africa. Hotel management, hotel managers, hotel professionals. This is a conference that is ours, right? And this is something that is happening within our space, in a language we understand, and with people whom we understand, and with problems we share. So I think that convergence of ideas and experiences is going to be singular. I look forward to that. And I think for many people, that opportunity to be recognized across boards, I think this is an amazing initiative. So I look forward to these 2 intense days of engagements, networking, and especially growth, professional growth in every aspect. And let's not forget the role of AI, digital transformation. We need to learn the people side of things, but we also need to understand, to move forward, we're going to have to engage with this. So that discussion around digitalization, AI, and hospitality is critical. I look forward to the outcome.